I like Mercy partly because it comes at some very difficult issues from a different angle with a different way of doing it. And one thing that I've learned over all these years of campaigning, there is not, there is no silver bullet, that you cannot change people through one message or through one way of putting things across. So with us at Viva, we campaign on animal welfare, we campaign on animal rights, we campaign on health, and we campaign on the environment, and we produce all the food. And we produce the more hard-hitting, the Hogwood's obviously a very powerful documentary, but it's a factual documentary. Mercy is obviously factual in terms of what it's based upon, but it's a drama. And so it will reach, different audiences that are pulled into it, and I think could not help but be moved by it. So I think it's exceptionally important for creative people like yourself to use your talent to be able to produce films like Mercy that can affect different audiences. I found it a very, very powerful program, if you want to call it a film, that really touched the heartstrings, because it forces you, if you like, to empathize more with the individuals. And I think that's a very powerful tool, because you put yourself in the place of the pig. And we've found with a lot of our campaigning, if you can bring it down to the individual instead of just seeing this shed full of thousands of animals, that sometimes it can be a bit hard to empathize. But if you can bring it down to an individual, suddenly the barriers start to shatter, don't they? Yeah. And I think that's what Mercy does.
And the individuals of the slaughterhouse workers as well, what their journey is within that system.
Yes, it's an interesting thing. I've been in a pig slaughterhouse, and I actually sat down with they were all men who were having lunch. They didn't know I was from Viva, as you may imagine. And only one of them I sat with about 12 of them, only one of them I would say was a genuine psychopath who actually wanted to be there, and he got a kick out of killing those poor animals for reasons I won't tell you about because it's so upsetting. But what I would say is those of the 11 guys definitely did not want to be there. This was not their dream job by any stretch of the imagination, and their justification was, well, people eat meat, so somebody's got to kill them. The meat eaters as bad as me, they're buying it, I'm killing them. This is a job I don't want to do. And they really didn't want to be doing it. They were aware. And the other thing that they said that was interesting, that the vast majority of men who went to do the job in an abattoir had left within 24 hours. Most people can't do the job, as you can imagine. So I think Mercy sort of explores that, the psychological impact, as you can imagine, in terms of killing like that day after day after day, what that does to you. Yeah. It's like going to war, isn't it? You don't come out of that unscathed. It's impossible.
The amount of numbers they'd have to kill as part of their job, otherwise get the sack perhaps.
Yes, because a lot of slaughterhouses operate on a basis that's called piecemeal, which is the more animals that you kill, the more you get paid. And a lot of the workers, as you can imagine, it's no surprise to anybody, are immigrant workers who are treated like the proverbial, Yeah. So they're not having a good time of it by any stretch of the imagination. And I do think, I don't like to use the term blame, but I think we do have to look within ourselves as why that's happening. And if you are buying the product, then you are part of that cycle and you're paying into it. Obviously, you may say, but I didn't know. In which case, okay, well, you do now.
Juliet Gellatley, founder and director of Viva, said, 3/4 of the world's new and emerging infectious diseases come from animals, mainly from trading in wildlife or from factory farming.
And it's my fault. I'm responsible. I'm the consumer, paying them to do my dirty work that could endanger us all.
It was a long fight for it to be allowed as evidence.
I work in an abattoir. It's my first day.
I remember being born. I remember being born. I do.